Hello, my name is AlisonMundy, and today I'll be looking at the concept of identity. I'll be using a song by Archie, Roach to illustrate this concept. The song I've chosen is titled Took the Children Away, and this is a personal reflection from Archie of his experiences of being a member of the stolen generations and the impacts this has had on his life and his Aboriginal identity. The concept of identity is integral to understanding Australian Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples, their culture, their worldviews, and their way of life. The stolen generations continue to cause intergenerational trauma to the collective and individual identities of our First Nations peoples. In Chapter 3 of our class text, Harrison and Selwood, Ivan Clark shared his story and referred to 4 things that he said were absolutely paramount to Aboriginal culture. Number 1 is family, 2, beliefs, 3, spirituality, and 4, our lands. These are the 4 concepts that complete us as a people, said Clark. This clearly demonstrates that Australian Aboriginal people's identity is very much an interwoven and complex concept involving those 4 concepts. One of our course readings by Mary Graham discussed Aboriginal worldviews in relation to this and how, from an Aboriginal perspective, the Western way of life has led to a weakened link between the Western human spirit and what we call a natural life force. This is a very different worldview to that held by most white Australians, and I would postulate that this is why the 2 cultures are very different and have such different focus points. I'll now play a short clip from the song. So that verse of the song spoke about the government policies of the time, which were based upon the belief that if Indigenous children were removed from their families, that they would be given a better life living in orphanages and foster homes with white families. But the policies didn't really work the way that the government had planned them to. The legislated forced removals were planned to make Indigenous children basically assimilate into white culture. They expected them to simply blend into these new lives in orphanages and white foster homes. They were expected to forget their native language, their cultural practices, ignore their spiritual beliefs, and just seamlessly blend in, basically. This obviously had huge detrimental effects on these children and obviously the families that were left behind, and caused severe trauma, which many still suffer from today, unfortunately. We know now, though, that in the education of Indigenous children in Australia, that we must be aware of the legacy of racism that we have inherited within the system. But we also must be mindful that we have the ability to integrate and include teachings of traditional cultural values, learnings and identities, and that there are a myriad of benefits that this can have for our students and the ongoing development of their healthy Indigenous identity, but also in creating awareness amongst non-Indigenous children.